Hey guys, I got a new unboxing and first impressions video for you today. This is the Street Guardian SG9665GM. Most of you will recognize this camera as the B40 or the A118 camera. So what makes this camera unique though is the fact that it comes from an Australian company and their brand is called Street Guardian. When you buy a Street Guardian, you're going to have an assurance that this is a genuine product with high quality parts. You're not going to have to worry about having some sort of cheaper, lower end version like the G1W suffers from if you buy from the wrong seller.
So included in this box is going to be a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and I believe it's a Kingston brand. It uses the Novatech 96650 processor and the Aptina USA AR0330 chipset also. So those are the same chips that are in the Mobius and the G1W. From what I've heard, this camera has an even wider lens than most cameras, around 170 degrees I believe. And this does have high dynamic range, obviously full HD 1080p 30 frames a second with 15 megabit recording, which is a good sweet spot, and H.264 encoding. This shows a little diagram of the controls, but I will go over that once we get it out. So Street Guardian is an Australian brand, and that is why the steering wheel is going to be on the right side, but it'll work just fine with an American car or whatever country you're in. If you have the steering wheel on this side, obviously you're just going to want to put it on the other side. So here's everything that should come with it. Some of the stuff I got actually separate outside of the box, so we're going to find out if any of that is actually still in the box. Alright, so yeah, I guess he just gave me an extra one. I'd like to thank Pier28 for this camera. I purchased it through Pier28, who will be selling all of the Street Guardian cameras in the US. And here's the actual camera. It's actually smaller than what I was expecting. So what I really like about this camera is this lens. We'll get into that more later. User manual. And this is all going to be written well. It's not going to be any sort of broken English like a lot of the generic Chinese cameras that you'll get online. So here's a pack full of different stuff like a screen protector. I think that might be a screen cleaner in there. Just go ahead and open it. Yep, screen protectors. No, excuse me, it's just cleaning cloth actually. Guessing you can use that for cleaning your window while installing it, or cleaning the screen of your camera, but more likely I would assume it's for cleaning the actual window. Here's some extra 3M sticky mounts, and this string is to remove the mount if you ever want to move the mount to another car or a different place. Maybe you might accidentally place it crooked or something, but getting those sticky mounts off can be really hard, so you use this like a saw and get it through there. And I've had to take off one before, and it is not easy with just floss. Here's some clips if you want to wire the cord. Ideally, you can just put the cord up in your roof panel, but This is nice if you just want something easy. A micro SD card reader, and the mount. So the mount goes on your window. So you can mount it on your window like that, and then the lens is right up against the window, which is what I really like about this camera. And then, oh, shoot. It's a little stiff, but once you get it in your window, it'll be a lot easier. There is a little protector over the lens, so make sure you take that off because that's going to blur your image a little bit if you don't. Power cord. There's a USB cable. I assume this is more just for data transfer. And then this little guy is for cable management, sort of. You can unclick this. One sec. So you can wire your cables through here, and then this is used to cover it. So that way, in your window, you can have it hiding by your mirror, and it'll actually look like part of the mirror when you have this there. So an optional feature of this camera is the external GPS. So this plugs in to the top of the camera, and again that can be hidden with this bracket. And then you stick this in your windshield somewhere to get the GPS. There's an extra, several extra, looks like 3 extra ones in there, and some stickers, which is always nice. So they are really trying to make this a brand, because like I said before, a lot of dash cameras are just generic, like the G1W. So people are confused when they get their cameras in different boxes with different names or completely different accessories included. So with Street Guardian, you're going to know what you're getting in your box. So the camera is also going to have a little screen protector on there, so you'll want to take that off. And the memory card will actually come inside of the camera. So like I mentioned before, it is a Kingston brand 32 gigabyte, and that is a class 10. So I'll do a quick rundown on all of the features on the body of the camera. Obviously we got the power button, menu button, and this button I assume is to mark a important file. So maybe you see something happen, but sometimes you see an accident and you want to mark a file, but you weren't actually involved. That should save the file. At least that's what I'm assuming that does. So then the record and mic button are here, and they also act as the up and down button in the menu. So up top we got a record LED, power LED, and mic LED, so you can turn the audio on or off with that, and that'll toggle that light. The microphone is located here on the side next to the memory card slot. On the other side there is the reset button, and this is to turn the lens. And what's unique about this camera is you could technically mount it vertically, and it's pointing a little bit down, but even in my Civic with a really slanted window, it's going to work very well. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and show the menu real quick. It uses just a micro SD, hoping this will actually power on completely because I have a wall adapter. Alright, so as you can see, it does show the view from the camera right now, so you can see my hand down there, and it automatically started recording. So the menu is going to be very similar to the G1W. I think what I did there was marked that as a important file. So I'll stop the recording, I'll hit menu, and these act as your up and down. So resolution, it only gives you the one option. I guess there's no reason why you would use the other ones anyways, but loop recording, I like it set at 1 minute. High dynamic range, keep that on. Here's the exposure. Motion detection, have it off right now. Record audio, on. Date stamp, so that's just in your video if it's going to display the date. Got GPS, it's set to on by default, but you do have to plug it in like I mentioned before. G sensor, low sensitivity is default. And then here's where you set the other settings. Date and time. I'm going to set that later, so don't worry about, not going to worry about that right now. Time zone, Pacific. This did ship from San Francisco, so I'm guessing that's why it's default Pacific time. Power on off, 1 minute. Beep sound, I'm going to turn that off. Language, TV mode, frequency, screensaver. Ideally, you don't want this on while you're driving, so after 1 minute, it'll shut down. Format the memory card, default setting. Guessing that's just for putting your own number. The G1W had a license plate function, or it had a license plate feature, so I'm guessing that's similar. So if you have a fleet of cars or something, I'm guessing you can say which car number it is. And then version. So that is the current version, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and install it in my car, and then I will show you guys how it looks in my car. So right now I'm looking at my black view, and I realize that that top piece actually goes right in between my mirror and the roof. So I am going to install it right there, and then I'm just going to have the Street Guardian over here. The only issue I have is this plastic piece gets in the way of the bar, so what I'll have to just do is cut it a little bit with a Dremel or something. Okay, so I finally got it installed, and you can see here I actually used a Dremel. Might be a little too dark, but I used a Dremel tool to cut that down, and that way I can get it to fit there. So from over here it actually looks pretty good from the driver's side, and I plan on using this permanently there actually, because I do like that. And got the Street Guardian to the right. I needed some space. I don't really want to take this temporary, or I mean not temporary, I don't want to take this permanent mount out, because this is the camera that I use every single day, so I don't really want to get rid of that. So here you can see I actually had an issue getting the previous sticky mount off. That was just one of those suction cup mount sticky pads, but I finally got as much off as I could for now. And here you can see now with the screen on, you can adjust the camera as much as you want, and I have it set pretty much straight. If I put it too low, I capture too much of the dashboard. What's a little weird is this is a little loose, like it clicks, but at the same time between clicks it's actually really loose. I wasn't expecting that. So I'm going to go ahead and install the GPS and I'll show you that. So with the GPS, you plug it in right there, and then the cord is actually a little longer than I was hoping. I'm assuming it's supposed to just install somewhere in the window. For now I'm just gonna leave it up here and just keep something to keep the cord up there. But when you have it plugged in, you can see right there it says kilometers an hour, so now it can actually track your speed. So if you want to remove the camera, you just got to unplug everything, let it shut off, oh, and it snaps right off with that.
So I've been driving around a little bit today with this camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you some sample clips from this camera. So in this clip, I did actually mute the volume just because of a lot of outside noises that are very irritating. Overall, the audio recording of this camera is pretty typical, does a good job, but I don't think you really want to hear me coughing or any of my music, so I muted that. But what's important here is the roundabout coming up ahead. You'll see the video is going to jump back. This is where the clip actually overlaps a little bit. It's not so much seamless as it is overlapping the video, but either way, you're not losing any information. You're not going to have any sort of gap where you weren't recording, which is very important in any dash camera. So this footage is pretty late in the afternoon, before sundown, but it's a little dark. Either way, in my full review, I'll make sure to give you many examples of different lighting conditions to show you how this camera performs. I want to have some time to actually experience using this camera for a while before I do that. So I wanted to show at least one clip with the audio recording on because just like all the other Novatech based cameras, there is a beeping sound. It's a little annoying, but in the end it doesn't really matter. You'll have to pardon my coughing or clearing my throat though, because I've been sick the past few weeks. So overall, I really love this camera so far. I've just been using it today, and the form factor alone is such a huge plus for me. I've mentioned before that, just like my Blackview cameras, form factor is very important. I want something that will be very discreet and well hidden. The Mobius is really small, but at the same time, depending on what kind of mount you're using, it can be pretty noticeable. I love the way this camera hugs the window. The lens being right up against the windshield also will block out a lot of reflections, so that was a very smart design. So if you buy this camera from shop.pier28.com, it's going to be $150 with the GPS. But if you don't want the GPS, it's $125. That sounds like it's pretty expensive compared to the generic B40 or A118 cameras, but at the same time, you are getting a 32GB Class 10 Kingston memory card, plus a few other accessories, such as a soft pouch. I really liked the fact that they included a soft pouch to transport the device safely. So overall, I really like this camera so far. The fact that it has the Street Guardian brand is very assuring. Plus, I really like the fact that it has a very discreet design and it has a 15 megabit bitrate, because that video quality makes quite a big difference. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.